Okay, so lastly, we are going to look at LIFO under both the periodic and the perpetual method. So unlike FIFO, under the LIFO method, our ending inventory and cost of goods sold will be different under the perpetual and the periodic methods. So under LIFO, the latest goods purchased are assumed that they are going to be the goods that are sold first. So this doesn't often coincide with economic reality. However, companies still may choose to use it and it's an option for them. So our cost of goods sold is going to um, be comprised of our most recently purchased goods. It will most accurately reflect our most recent prices. And then our ending inventory is going to reflect our oldest purchase inventory and reflect our oldest pricing. So let's go ahead and jump into our example. So under the LIFO periodic method, so that's where we go at the end of the period. So with LIFO periodic, we just, again, start taking from our inventory, starting at our most recent purchases and try to build up to our total units that we've sold. So we sold 4,600. So first let's pull from this purchase on the 29th. So we had 500 at $6.79. Next, we'll pull from the purchase on the 21st. So 700 at $6.60. Then we'll pull from the purchase at the 13th. So 1,200 at $6.50. Then we'll pull from this purchase on the 8th, so 800 units at $6.40. And then again, we're getting kind of close to the top, so let's do a quick check and see where we are with our units. So here, so far, we've accounted for 3,200 units. We need to get to 4,600. So if we take the difference between those two, we'll get 1,400. If we look at our purchase on the 4th, we had 1,500 units. So we only need to pull 1,400 of those. So we'll leave 100 of those in our ending inventory. We'll record 1,400 at $6.08 in our cost of goods sold. So if we go ahead and add all of those up, we'll get 4,600 units. And we can multiply out each unit times its unit cost. So we'll have 3,395 in our first, 4,620, 7,800, 5,120, and then 8,512. If we add up the cost of each of those sets of purchases, we'll get a total cost of goods sold of 29,447. So this is our, again, cost of goods sold. Our ending inventory is going to be comprised of 100 units that we purchased at $6.08 and then 600 that we purchased at $6. So 600 at 6 for a total cost of $3,600. And then we have, sorry, there should not be a dollar sign there. And then we have 100 units at $6.08 for a total cost of $608. And our total value of our ending inventory is going to be 4,208, and we have 700 units remaining in our ending inventory. And again, we can do a check, see what the value of our cost of goods sold is, plus the value of our ending inventory. And again, we should get 33,655, which is equal to our cost of goods available for sale. So now let's move on to our last method. So the LIFO perpetual. So under this method, we can only pull from the purchases that we've had up until the date of the sale. So we can't start with this set of purchases where we purchased 500 at $679 at the end of the month. Instead, we have to look at each sale and see what was available at that time and then pull the latest purchase from those batches of purchases that are available. Okay, so this one again, I would work through slowly and carefully. So we start on April 1st, and here we have 600 units at $6 each, and so that gives us a total of $3,600 in our inventory. So our first sale is on April 3rd. So on April 3rd, we sell 500 units. And so our only available purchase from which to pull from is our first. So these will be at $6 each. And so if we take 500 times $6, we'll get 3,000 as our cost of goods sold for that sale. And so after that sale, our ending inventory will be comprised of 100 units at $6 each for a total value of our inventory of $600. Then on the 4th and the 8th, we have additional purchases, so we can increase the value and the number of units in our inventory. So on the 4th, we purchased 1,500 units. On the 8th, we purchased 800 units. The units on the 4th were purchased at $6.08, and the units on the 8th were purchased at $6.40 for total costs of $9,120 and $5,120. So then on the 9th, we make a sale. So if we look here, we sold 1,400 units. So now we have multiple purchases from which to pull from. So we're going to pull from our purchase that was most recent to this date. So first we're going to start by pulling from the purchase on the 8th. So we'll take 800 units at $6.40 for a total cost of $5,120. So I would just like to draw a line through this to show we've used it up. And then let's see, this sale had a total units of 1,400. We've already pulled 800, so we need to pull 600 more. So we'll pull 600 units from our purchase on April 4th. So that was at $6.08. And so the total cost of that bundle is going to be $3,648. And so now we don't have 1,500 units in here. We only have 900 remaining. Okay, so if we take a look, if we do the new composition of our ending inventory, we still have, or of our inventory, we still have 100 units at $6. That was a total of 600. We have, and then we have 900 units remaining from our purchase on the 4th at a total of $6.08 for a total bundled price of 5,472. So, okay, let's see what we do next. So our next date is the 11th. So on the 11th, we sell 600 units. So here we can pull all 600 units from our purchase on the 4th, since we have 900 units remaining in that purchase. So we'll take 600 units at $6.08 for a total cost of goods sold of $3,648. So from this, we no longer have 900 units, we only have 300 left. So after the sale on the 11th, our ending inventory is going to be comprised of, I'm just going to move it over here so we have a little bit more space, 100 units at $6. Again, that's still worth 600. And then we have 300 units remaining of our April 4th purchase at $6.08 each. Then next up on our calendar, we have two additional purchases. So we have one on the 13th and then another on the 21st. So on the 13th, we buy 1,200 units at $6.50 for a total cost of 7,800. And then our purchase on the 21st was for 700 units at $6.60 for a total cost of 4,620. So this is what our inventory is currently comprised of. So then on the 23rd, we have another sale. So let's see what happens here. So in this sale, we're selling 1,200 units. So let's start from pulling from the most recent purchase on the 21st. So we'll take out, so here's the 23rd, 700 units at $6.60. So this will be for a total of 4,620. So let's cross out this to show that we've used all that up. We'll take another, let's see, 1,200 units. Let's see, how many do we sell? We sold a total of 1,200. So we're going to take 500 more units from this purchase on the 13th next. So we have 700 left here. This purchase on the 13th was purchased at $6.50 each. So that's going to add to our cost of goods sold, 3,250. And then after this sale, we will end up with 100 units at $6, 300 units at $6.08, and then 700 units at $6.50. So the value of our inventory is as follows. Then on the 27th, we have another sale before we've made any more purchases. So on the 27th, we sell 900 units. So we're going to first start out by taking from the remaining 700 units from our April 13th purchase that's remaining. So that was here. We brought it down over here. So we'll subtract 700 units at $6.50. And so that'll give us cost of goods sold of oops, 4,550. And then we need another 200 units. So we're going to take 200 units from this purchase that was done on April 4th. And so we're going to have 100 units left here. So we'll subtract another 200 units. Those were at $6.08 for a total of 1,216. And so after this sale on the 27th, we'll have 100 units remaining from our initial beginning balance of inventory. And then we'll have 100 units from our April 4th purchase at $6.08. And that will be $608. And then our last part of this problem is that we will have an additional purchase on the 29th of 500 units at $6.79 for a total cost of 3,395. If we add our remaining inventory up at the end of the period, we'll get ending inventory of 700 units for a total cost of $4,603. Our cost of goods sold is going to be all of our calculations here added up. So 3,000, 5,000, 3,000, another 3,600, two more here, and two more here. So if we add all of that up, we will get cost of goods sold of $29,052. We can also add up all of our units and make sure that we get to that $4,600 or 4,600 units. So if we add up all of these that I just highlighted in yellow, you should get 4,600. And then again, if we take our cost of goods sold, we add it to our ending inventory that we calculated down here, we should get 33,655, which was our cost of goods available for sale. So let's go ahead and add these to our comparison table. So our ending inventory under LIFO periodic was 4,208. And then our cost of goods sold under LIFO periodic was 29,447. Under LIFO perpetual, our ending inventory was $4,603, and then our cost of goods sold is 29,052. So we can see that our cost of goods sold and our ending inventory under LIFO periodic and perpetual are different. And so that's because under the perpetual system, we can only sell what we have. Whereas under the periodic LIFO, we assume that everything is available for sale during the period. So let's look at a comparison of our three different methods. So if we take a look at our data here, we can see that we are in a period of rising prices. So our earliest purchase goods were our cheapest. So here we can see this was only at $6. So our lowest price was our beginning inventory. And then our highest price was at the end of the period. So our most recently purchased goods are the most expensive. Our earlier purchased goods are the least expensive. So if we look at FIFO, this is first in, first out. So our ending inventory is going to consist of the most expensive goods. So our ending inventory under FIFO is 4,700. And then our cost of goods sold is going to consist of our earliest purchased goods. So those were our cheapest. And so our cost of goods sold is going to be comprised of the least expensive goods. So then with LIFO, we'll see the opposite. So with LIFO, our ending should say LIFO, sorry about that. But so our ending inventory is going to be comprised of our most recently purchased goods at the lowest prices. So our ending inventory is going to be the least expensive. And then our cost of goods sold will be comprised of our most recently purchased goods at the highest prices. So our cost of goods sold is going to reflect our our most expensive inventory that we purchased. And then our average cost should fall somewhere in between. So for our periodic method, our average cost of ending inventory was 4,445. Our FIFO ending inventory was 4,715. And then our LIFO ending inventory was 4,208. So we can see here that our LIFO ending inventory is the least expensive and our FIFO is the most expensive with our average cost falling somewhere in between. We'll see that same thing if we look at our perpetual. So here our FIFO was the most expensive, our LIFO was the least expensive, and our weighted average cost fell in between right there. So under FIFO, we have the highest value of ending inventory, the lowest value of cost of goods sold. And the lowest value of cost of goods sold is going to lead us to the highest net income, which will lead us to a higher tax liability. Okay, and then with LIFO, it's going to be the opposite. So we'll have the lowest value of ending inventory, the highest value of cost of goods sold, but we'll have the lowest net income and the lowest tax liability. So you should be able to make these comparisons. You can do them either in by calculating dollar values, or you can think of this conceptually.